with step 5. In the subsequent meetings that we will be having, the 4 main tasks that we're going to be looking at are how do we link learning and teaching. Under linking learning and teaching, we look at the learner-centered problem, and we're going to rephrase it into the problem of practice. What are the big problems of practice that we see within the field? Under that area, we are not looking at individual teachers per se. We don't want anyone to get defensive in terms of what it is that you're doing, but we definitely want to have an open collaboration. We want to use that ACE mindset so that we can intentionally collaborate. So we're going to intentionally look at some of the problems that we see within our own practices or within the teaching practice in general. Another task that we're going to be looking under step 5 is we're going to develop skills of observing practices. Many of us, we're used to having someone come into our classroom to observe. Depending on the school you're coming from, it may be once a quarter. Depending on your where you are in the observation cycle, it may be more frequently throughout the school year. But we do not usually have a database driven way to look at instruction, and that's what we're going to be doing under step 5. So when we develop a skill of observing practice, we're going to be looking at instructional data. And the other factor that we're going to be looking at is a shared understanding of effective practices. So after we examine the problem of practice, we're going to come up with some questions relating to instructions, and we're going to come up with how can we effectively, we're going to come up with our general understanding of what makes the different teaching instructional practices effective. And from there, then we're going to analyze our current practices. During step 5, we're going to be talking a lot about what do we see when we go into someone else's classroom? What do other people see when they come into our classroom? And we're going to use, to help us get through the problem of practice and instruction, we're going to use what we call an affinity model. Whoever will be leading that part of the interdisciplinary meeting, the affinity protocol is going to help us reframe from our learner-centered problem to our to our problem of practice within the classroom. And the other task, the other strategy that we can use to arrive at the problem of practice is what we call why. So why are we doing this? Why? To help us drill down. So that's pretty much it for